If you drive around in St. Louis for any time at all, you will find one fact that is inescapable. There are a lot of parks here. I'm not talking about a grassy lot with a few pieces of playground equipment on it. I mean nice parks, beautifully landscaped, well planned out green spaces with mature trees, rambling trails, architectural features, and history. You like art, you say? There are even parks here for that. The crown jewel of the St. Louis parkscape is unarguably Forest Park, sort of like the Central Park of St. Louis, with its beginning rooted in the 1904's World Fair, when the park was more or less transformed into an international city for the event. Walking the grounds today, the imprint is still here. The park scene in St. Louis is vast, but all this walking around here is making me hungry. And when you're hungry and at a park, the situation is prime for a picnic. As a chef, I need to stay curious in order to evolve. For me, that means looking beyond a good meal to learn more about who made it and what inspires them to cook.
La comida es amor.
Every great city has great food. I'm going on a journey around the world, right here in St. Louis. I'm on a quest to find passionate chefs who cooks from the heart.
It's exciting.
And I think it's the best.
To prove that food is love.
And it's gonna be delicious.
Food is love. Love your food. The quest to build a perfect picnic with local foods sounds like a lot of fun, but let's be honest, this could be daunting.
Okay, I'm ready.
I, however, has an ace up my sleeve. A chef friend and a former St. Louisian, Cassie Lynn, who after some persuading and possibly some bribery, I have enlisted to act as a compass to help me navigate through the sea of foodie possibilities that lays before me. Her decision to stocking our basket with sweets first only confirms in my mind that I chose the right partner for this. On a normal day, there is plenty of good reasons to come into Pintsized Bakery, but when you're packing a picnic with the best things from St. Louis, a mediocre dessert course is not gonna cut it. According to Cassie, the oats here at Pintsized is something to write home about.
My favorite thing here, I like oatmeal cream pies, but they do this thing called an oatie, which is their version of an oatmeal cream pie. So it's 2 oatmeal cookies with a marshmallow cream in the middle, and it's just... So you have Nancy and Christy in the back, and they do just absolutely wonderful things here.
The smell in here brings me back. We arrived just in time to see how the filling was made, and the oats come together. Butter, powdered sugar, marshmallow fluff, a sticky delight.
Cream until it's nice and fluffy and white. We don't really do anything that's super fancy. It's just mostly really good ingredients that we, use the right techniques on and make delicious things that people love.
Okay, timer. So this is a chewy oatmeal cookie. It's made with rolled oats and brown sugar and butter and flour and eggs. A little bit of cinnamon.
They smell delicious. How many cookies do you eat in a day?
It's kind of a problem.
Yeah, I'll say. They're great.
I know.
Yeah, it's a good cookie on its own. It's almost like the kind of cookie that you would put a butterscotch chip in, like that kind of old-fashioned cookie.
Who taught you how to do all this stuff?
Well, Christy and I both went to culinary school, just right out of high school. I went right to culinary school. Was ready for it, was excited, and I've been doing it ever since. There was a little bit of time where we were closed because of the pandemic, and people were sharing with us pictures of things that they made that were our recipes, even the oatmeal cream pies, and it was awesome to see. But they still come back to us. They still come back to get a treat. I mean, we're like, if you think you can do it as good as us, then go ahead. We've shared like a ton of our recipes online and in Piece Magazine, and we love to do that because people get excited. Because sometimes things taste better when somebody else makes them for you. So they always come back, even if we share our recipes.
Is this your favorite cookie?
I'm kind of a chocolate person. We make a triple chocolate cookie that is pretty irresistible. Just I kind of like just let it mix in, and then I'll just finish a little bit by hand. Christy, you want to do the piping honors, or should I?
No way!
Let me do it.
You can try your hand at it.
Yeah.
So we start kind of like about a ½ inch above and just squeeze. Just like that. And then the hard part is the cookies cook a little crazy, so we try to match them up as best we can.
The pastry chef in me can't help to take a bag and ice a few of them by myself. Like riding a bicycle. I grew up in a pastry shop. I've done this a few times too.
I was like, this is not his first time.
No.
I'm getting in the spirit now.
You're hired.
It's like, what else you got to do today? Can we make
Well, there's some dishes in the back if you want to
Right, yeah.
for us.
Gotta earn your way. You gotta earn your keep, right?
Fun to clean. Usually we fridge them for a little while before we box them all up. Hardest part is once you get the lid on straight.
Cassie and I can always come in and help you when you get real busy.
We work for Odie's.
Dessert in hand, it's time to write to the next stop. You're now part of the ultimate picnic. Two things that are almost synonymous with picnic is wine and cheese. If you invite somebody to a picnic and you don't have cheese or wine, is it even really a picnic? There's a lot of places to get wine and cheese, but none more appropriately named than the wine and cheese place. There is no shortage of excellent options here, and all the help you need to find them. Locally owned, the wine and cheese place has an amazing selection of the best local and imported wine and cheese. As much as I would love to go to my comfort zone with a bottle of Prisoner for the picnic, being a St. Louis family, a nice Deerberg Chardonnay is a much better fit.
And there's not a single person in St. Louis that doesn't know Deerberg.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think we need to support St. Louis, so let's get one of those.
Do that.
Let's pick some
Awesome.
cheese out. 2 bottles should do it, and a little blue cheese sounds good too. Another cool thing they do here is roast nuts. We get some to go and pick up some excellent goat cheese made here in Missouri, just outside of St. Louis, in a little place called Batje Farms. Okay, I know it isn't St. Louis, but let's be honest. How are you going to take care of a herd of 80-plus goats in, say, Benton Park or Tower Grove, or anywhere in the city for that matter? You get my point. Batje Farms is about an hour outside of the city and a scenic drive into the country to be sure. But the real reward is some of the best goat cheese I've ever had.
I don't know if we're supposed to do handshakes, but I'm Kara.
All right, Lasse.
They're all French-inspired cheeses. So for our most popular one, which was the ash one, it's called Bloomsdale. It's actually mimicked after a small town in France called Valençay. So it's a Valençay. They named it after the region. So we trademarked and named that cheese here Bloomsdale because that's where we're from.
Yeah.
So that is our #1 cheese that we sell. It's worldwide recognized. It's won over 5 times Super Gold at the World Cheese Awards. So, you know, little old Bloomsdale is making world-class cheese, which is super awesome. So, you know, we have a small team here, and so small but mighty, you know.
And you see it in a lot of places in St. Louis restaurants.
Yes.
Known for its high quality, Batje goat cheese are sold in stores and used in kitchens all over the country. Believe it or not, the original rennet used in the goat cheese comes from Denmark. So naturally, I had to make the trip out.
In here, we age our beer wash, our Amaro, and our feta. Step around, you can see here.
It smells so good in there.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
I'll take a bucket of that feta.
Right? Yeah.
Feta, tomato, and onions. It doesn't get much better.
Yeah, feta.
It's so important as a chef that you connect the dots, where if you buy local and you come out and see, you know, then you have much more respect for the product when you have it in your hand because you realize the story behind it and the craft.
Absolutely.
And that makes it amazing
It's a
to
craft.
serve it.
It's an art, you know, like all of our cheeses, we strive for consistency, but you see everyone's just a little different because it is handcrafted. We don't have these mass machines making this cheese. It's, you know, a group of our 6 people doing every piece, so.
It's neat to see it all come together. Hey!
Eating my hair.
I'm not sure if the goats likes me, but I love their cheese. And it's very appropriate that the cheese is in the shape of a heart. All in all, a beautiful drive and worth the trip out. But I digress. Now we must get back to filling our picnic baskets. Those goats were so sweet, and I don't know why, but I mean... Di Gregorio, is that like you can go and get a sandwich there too if you want to? They'll make you a sandwich there too? Another must-have on any picnic is some kind or several kinds of cured meats. Cheese and wine is only made better when you mix in some nice Italian specialties like prosciutto or capricola. But Cassie, where do we find such things? Di Gregorio in the iconic Hill neighborhood is a great place to stop. Di Gregorio is an old-school Italian grocer that has all the specialties: muffalata, olives, meats, dressings, just to name a few.
This is a good picnic idea also.
Oh,
It's a muffalata. So it's provolone, mortadella, capicola, copa, salami, and then muffalata spread, which is an olive spread.
Wow, that looks good.
yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
Really easy. Fold it up, wrap it up, take it on your picnic.
Yeah, a lot of cheese.
Stuff out of
Well, look at here.
There you go, Danish Fontina.
Danish Fontina, right?
It's very good cheese.
I appreciate
There's
you saying
Danish
that.
everywhere we go today.
If it's traditional Italian, they have it here. And their story is a lot like other Italian immigrant stories on the hill. So this is your parents right here?
That's my mom and dad's wedding picture there.
Okay.
So the story is, it was two brothers. My grandfather, Frank Di Gregorio, his brother, Joe Di Gregorio. So during the war, they were all coal miners. So in Sicily, they shut all the mines down. So one brother went to Belgium, one brother came here to the hill. So my grandfather went to Belgium, and his whole family was working in the sulfur mines in Belgium because the sulfur, they needed it for the war. So they were paying big money back then, which compared to today, it was big money. So they lived there. My mom and dad met there, got married. My sister and I were actually born at the age. So my great uncle started bringing us over. They sponsored us over. So we did the whole immigration thing. We came over on Queen Elizabeth. We went into Ellis Island. All of our names are on the wall. From New York, some of the families stayed in New York. The rest came here to St. Louis on the hill. And it's called the Hill because all the factories were down on Manchester. And they had to walk up Macklin Avenue to come here to the hill where they live. So they call it La Montagna, which means the mountain or the hill.
No doubt, Frank is a St. Louis treasure.
And there you go.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Have a good
Thank you.
picnic.
It was
Appreciate it.
nice
Good to
meeting
see
you.
It was a pleasure meeting you also.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All I can say is, it's a good thing I don't live close to this place.
Di Gregorio sells a ton of Volpe, which Volpe's down on the hill.
Just down from Di Gregorio is Volpe. Volpe is an artisan cured meat shop that has been preparing cured meats in the Italian tradition since 1902.
We're a 118-year-old deli.
When John Volpe immigrated from Italy to start his business here on the hill.
We lived upstairs, so there was never any excuse to not show up to work.
4 generations later, and today Volpe still holds true to the standards set back then. Only now, Volpe foods are distributed nationally, but their home is still on the hill, and their products is a staple in places like Di Gregorio, another small but mighty grocer filled with local goodies and imported delicacies, all conveniently arranged together for easy picnic pairing, is the Smokehouse Market in Chesterfield. This is Tom, the owner of the Smokehouse Market, and his accompanied restaurant Annie Gunn's.
If you're sitting at Annie Gunn's and you have the best steak, you say, wow, where can I get this steak? Well, you can come over to the smokehouse and get it. Conversely, if you're walking through the store and you see something that appeals to you, And you say, wow, you know, I don't feel like cooking. We said, come to Annie Gunn's, because we feature everything next door.
This place reminds me of a European-style market, where instead of shopping for the whole week, customers stop in every other day to pick up what's fresh.
The idea 40 years ago that we had was that in the true European sense that we would be a small market and not compete with the big box stores. We would handle things that they really didn't handle, specialty items, so we had a lot of imported items, but we also had, you got to remember, this was all farm ground then, so we had a lot of farmers that brought things in, raspberries, strawberries, and everything.
Tom likes to call the market his 40-year overnight success story. Walking through the store, it's clear that he spent most of those 40 years sourcing the best of the best.
So in the product life cycle, we'd be getting things from our neighbors, St. Charles County, all over, and that was in 1980. So that's why we call it our 40-year overnight success story. But we go through here, we have wines that match everything that we sell. We have wines that are paired with it, and you'll see it throughout the store. Well, if we have the cheese, then we need the crackers, then we need the olives, then we need the tapenade. Maybe they'll want some salad to go with their cheeses. So we make everything here in small batches. We make and package our own little sausages and everything, so if they needed some pear chutney to go with their cheese. So with pear chutney, we have quince butter. So as we go through the store, we have everything that you need every day. In the true European sense, what you're used to is that you buy things every 2 or 3 days. Everything's fresh. Everything's made in small batches on the premise. So
today we are picking up some homemade chips, quince butter, and pear chutney to go with our cheeses. You can spend all day in this place, but our picnic awaits.
When's the last time you were on a picnic?
With everything we need for the perfect picnic, now it's just a matter of picking the park to eat it in. Today we're headed to Forest Park. There are so many scenic vistas and hidden corners. The biggest problem can be choosing where to go. Luckily, no choice is the bad one. With more food than Cassie and I can handle alone, I have invited friend and St. Louis food blogger Whitney Scherr, better known as Whitney in the City, to come along with us. Whitney's Instagram account is one of several dedicated pages that focuses on the St. Louis food scene. Another aspect that makes the food scene in St. Louis so special. I'm always looking for what's good and what's new. So having a connection like Whitney is priceless. Let the picnic begin.
What we tried to do today is Cassie showed me around all these great places where you can get all kinds of delicacies, but it's all from St. Louis.
Yeah.
And made in St. Louis.
This is the quince spread.
Okay.
Or the quince butter.
As a chef, you know, I always bring a knife.
Got to. St. Louis is like a giant melting pot because, I mean, I'm not from here, you're not from here, you know, and there's so many different people that aren't necessarily from St. Louis that all come together, especially for the food scene. We were talking about earlier, everybody seems like they're on the same team, you know, like in St. Louis. All the chefs know each other and everybody comes together for the city, which is awesome.
But even cool. Bloggers, you were saying to me that, you know, bloggers in New York didn't necessarily work together or like each other.
No.
Where here it's different.
Here it's completely different. We tag each other in posts, we like each other's pictures. In New York, you would avoid everybody else's. Yeah. You're like, if we're going to an event, I'm gonna sit on one side of the table, you're gonna be on the other side, we're gonna pretend like we don't know what the other one does.
Let me open the wine.
There you go.
I don't know what I was thinking. I should have done that first.
So this is from Annie Gunn's. So what they do, like they have the big smokehouse market there. So they do a lot of stuff that picnic-wise, I was thinking like French onion dip, ranch dip, blue cheese dip, like really well. Simple things that people take for granted. So the olives and these are from Di Gregorio's, and that's a part of Frank's mom's recipe. Grab that Humboldt fog too. Have you ever had that?
No.
Oh my gosh.
So we got that from Clayton, the wine and cheese store.
The wine and cheese store.
We went there and got that. They had a great selection. And I mean, the nuts they make, that was an interesting concept too.
You can go in there and they'll roast nuts for you. They have almonds, pistachios, everything. They'll roast it. They have a house blend, which is what we got. Jesus.
I hope you're hungry.
Oh,
yeah. That's a muffalata. They do those at Di Gregorio's. They'll make sandwiches. They ask that you order these ahead of time because of the bread. They make their own bread at Marconi Bakery, which is their bakery they own.
The most important thing when you go on a picnic is that you're hungry.
Yes.
And if you're not, you need to go for a long walk first. We're gonna be.
We're all gonna be friends.
Who doesn't like prosciutto?
I know, right? Salty and delicious.
You know, I saw, we talked about Louis on Demont. They have that machine that cuts the prosciutto. That is so neat, isn't it?
That's one of my favorite appetizers. Their prosciutto and, is it Parmesan cheese, prosciutto, and mozzarella appetizer is so good.
So is that your favorite restaurant, you think?
I think
in St. Louis?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to say that as a blogger?
I don't know.
It's too late now.
It is.
Look at all the different things you can get here.
We have a lot of wonderful ingredients from all over because St. Louis is a big melting pot of people.
There's great places to have picnics.
Let's eat.
Yeah, gotta try it. Good?
That's good.
There's your sweet and salty and your creamy.
Yeah. Dierberg wine, another St. Louis family. But picnicking is a good idea.
It helps create that experience.
You go and get everything safely, and then you can sit with your families and friends, and you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Cheers.
Food is love.
Food is love.
One of my favorite things that I hope stays after COVID, or just is here to stay, are the streeteries, where the different restaurants are moving out into the middle of the street. The Central West End, on Fridays and Saturday nights, all the restaurants bring tables out into the middle of Euclid, and they close the street. It's packed in a great way, a safe way.
So when you're at a picnic like this, you can always tell, how much wine you drink by how you're sitting. So here in the beginning, I've only had half a glass of wine, and then as the day progresses, you get further and further down.
The Missouri Botanical Gardens on Wednesday nights has live music, and we'll set up a big picnic and get a bunch of different pizzas. And St. Louis style pizza, it doesn't really matter if it's cold. It's very good.
This is garlic olive oil Frank from Di Gregorio said that, just take some bread and dip it in there. That was really good. There's so much food here to explore.
There is.
We have everything.
St. Louis has been on a lot of lists recently, like in the last year or two, for top foodie cities around the country. And so that's been kind of cool.
But even sitting right here right now, think about this. I mean, that we're all by ourselves.
Yeah.
There's nobody, and we're in a fairly big city.
Yeah, it's been very interesting with COVID. And as a food blogger, it's been interesting because I think we're all kind of banding together to do whatever we can to support local restaurants. It's now about trying to get people to go to restaurants and trying to try new foods. And even if you go to the same restaurant over and over, maybe order a second entree or try something different.
That's exactly what it's all about, is trying something different. And once you try something different, you're all of a sudden open to a lot of other new things, and that's how food is. Food is a little gateway to another culture, where you take the chance, you open the door, they let you in, and you get to see something completely different. Well, thank you very much. It was such a pleasure. And look at this spread from St. Louis. Perfect picnic in the park. It was just a perfect day. Food is love.
Thank you. Food is love.
Food is love.
At the end of the day, I've come to realize maybe there isn't an exact formula for the perfect picnic. Maybe as long as you have something good to eat, the biggest factors are where you eat it and who you eat it with. As far as food in this city, the possibilities are limitless. There is a mountain of options, and we only visited a few. Still, we ended up with an incredibly diverse and satisfying spread. I can go on and on about the different parks in St. Louis, but you should really just explore for yourself. Which brings me to a formula I do know. To broaden your horizons, start with an open mind and an empty stomach. Drive through a neighborhood you've never been to. Check out the local shops. Get to know more about the people behind them. Follow Whitney in the City and all of the other great St. Louis food bloggers on Instagram. Do this, and it won't take you long to see why I always say food is love. I created this charcuterie board in the spirit of sharing, and This is great for picnics. You get all the ingredients in St. Louis, and all the beautiful pox in St. Louis is ready for you and your friends to share. There is no reason why you shouldn't go and have a picnic with someone you love.